All right, so as we get going, I want you guys to meet Dre Paskert. She is a social media expert. A lot of people in here, and you're maybe wondering, all right, how does this tie in? Look, we're here because of YouTube, right? We wouldn't know each other if it weren't for YouTube. We wouldn't know each other if it weren't for the interwebs and social media. She's an expert in this, and she is someone who's helped me a lot with getting more people to get engaged. She worked for a social media company here in town, and now she's doing full-time helping people, coaching them on their social medias. So if you're really serious about it, you should definitely hit her up afterwards. You should definitely pay attention and listen to what she has to say. She's also teaching an online masterclass that you can take, so you can learn via that masterclass if you don't live here in Austin. But everybody, and her Instagram and her social channels are Time of Dre. Get it? Time of Dre? So now is the time of Dre.
Much for having me here today. I know that not everybody is a social media professional in this room, so I'm going to try to boil these concepts down that can really apply to any of the social media channels that you might be utilizing in order to get your mission, your message, and your work out to other people. I am focused a lot on Instagram. That is mainly the platform that I utilize because it is a visual platform, and for I'm sure a lot of people like you, you are using visual mediums in order to connect with your ideal customer, client, follower, and all of that good stuff. So a little bit about me. My name is Dre. I am a social media professional. I used to work with the NFL, ESPN, Target, L'Oreal, and Facebook with their social media channels. I am now fully self-employed, helping small businesses and personal brands grow and master their monetize and master their message online. It's been pretty amazing to be self-employed and doing what I truly love. So a few things about me. I'm a massive Prince fan. You're going to see this pop up in the presentation. I apologize in advance. French Bulldog owner, spicy Cheetos lover, and all of that good stuff. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking a lot about your niche. And you might be rolling your eyes a little bit thinking, okay, how does this apply to me? But I promise you, the quicker that you understand exactly what it is you have to offer somebody else, the faster you can grow and master your message online. I'm going to be giving you some actionable tips. We're going to talk about all of the gory details, and then we'll talk about how you can make sure you set up your social media for success. Okay, so I really want to make sure today you walk away from this with clarity. As Kelly said, I do teach people to do this all the time online, so we can take this to part 2 if you want additional help. But I'm hoping that you walk away with a brand new insight into how you need to put your best foot forward online. Okay, so when you think of social media, I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, where's the flash? Where is all of the fun details? Where is the presentation with the fun videos? But really, the key is if you are going to do anything on social media, you have to understand what it is you're actually doing first. And I speak to people all the time that say, I'm a hairdresser. And I say, cool, hairdresser for who? Okay, you say, I'm a drone pilot. And I say, that doesn't tell me anything. What are you actually doing? Who are you actually serving? And in what instance are we going to work together? And that's when a lot of people freeze up and they say, okay, well, I do outdoor videos. Not good enough. Okay, am I hiring you to work with me privately? Are you only working with sporting good companies? Let's go all of the levels deeper. So we're talking about your target market. This is just really general. This is who are your products aimed to? So it might just be anyone on the internet right now. It could be anyone who loves beautiful outdoor shots. It could be anyone who loves product shots. But taking it and niching down is basically saying, truly down to the sentence, who it is that you are creating your work for. So I gave a few examples for a lot of different categories, but it's if you were to travel, you are helping budget travelers go on their end of the year trips. Or if you are a teacher on social media, you are helping teachers come up with wonderful work plans for their entire year. We have to take this a few steps deeper in order to really create awesome content for other people. So if you're sitting here thinking, okay, I'm good at a lot of things, I really like what I do, I walk people through this exercise in order to really be able to deeper understand where their strengths lie. So this is what you are naturally great at. That first time you picked up a drone, that first time that you created your first video, what did you naturally gravitate towards? And when people look at your work and look at what you're doing and all of the breadth of work that you have, what gets people excited? But also, more importantly, what gets you excited? As a social media expert, I can teach people on anything. I could teach you how to take photos, I could teach you how to write captions, I could teach you how to do anything. But my passion is helping small business owners grow online. So that is a completely different niche that I have. So just because you're excellent at flying and you're excellent at creating videos, thinking, what am I actually naturally great at? Am I great at the editing side? Does everyone come up to me and say, can you show me how to use this drone because you explain things so clearly to me? And the next question I ask people is, can you create content around this for years? So just because you are great at something doesn't mean you're passionate about something. So a lot of times when people say, well, the money is in the editing, right? Or the money is in the photography side. And I say, are you passionate about that? Do you want to create content around that for the next decade? Most of them say, no, that's actually not my passion. That's not where I get excited about. So I drive them back to this exercise. Okay, what are you great at? What do you actually want to create content around? So when you start thinking about all of the things that you are the best at, it's really coming up with a short list of the things that you want to do. So maybe right now you're a hobbyist and you're just doing this for fun, but you constantly hear people coming back to you and saying, you know, you're really good at the editing side. Or the way that you explained that in that video was incredible. I've never been explained to it in that fashion, and I think you would be great at teaching me how to do this. Maybe the path for some of you in here is to become an educator in the drone community. And maybe you haven't realized that yet. So when you start thinking about where it is that you're naturally good, what excites you, create that list, write it all down, get that out of your head, and think about who you can actually start speaking to. And then we're going to talk about building that with your personal brand. Personal branding is my favorite subject of all time. This is the reason that some people are up on this stage and some people are not. This is the reason that people get featured in commercials and people get social media campaigns and other people don't. Personal branding is truly that secret Krabby Patty formula that puts people up on a pedestal and gives them a ton of visibility in any industry, including the drone world. I'm sure there are drone celebrities, maybe some of them are here. I don't have a lot of context on that, but there is a reason that people get raised up to that, and that is from personal branding. So if you're still thinking about, okay, I know I need to get a little bit more specific. I can't just say I fly and take footage of everything. When you speak to everybody, you speak to nobody. This is this is an example of how I go through this flow. What skills do I have? Okay, I'm amazing at trick shots. I'm great at editing. I always pick the best music that goes along with this and turns it into a cinematic masterpiece. I'm passionate about creating these edits. I love the editing process, and I love creating those slick final videos. But I know I'm not passionate about dealing with clients. I don't like dealing one-on-one with people. I don't want to deal with brides. I don't want to do anything with weddings. And most people come to me for advice about editing, and they come to me advice about mentorship. So, thinking about all of the things that people come to us and tell you, this is what you're excellent at. I'm learning from you in these particular categories. We can start to define maybe different areas in which we could focus on with our videos and our content. So I boiled this down to something that is like super hyper specific. And when I'm talking about understanding your niche, these are the types of specificities I'm looking for. If you are constantly creating content for Instagram, you're showing up every day, you're trying to create these videos, but you are bouncing all over the place. You have no idea who your ideal audience member is, who is holding that other end of the phone consuming your content. You are making a big mistake. There is someone out there that wants to be inspired by your videos and what it is that you're doing, but until you get clear on this, you're not going to be speaking to them. And this is when people create massive connections. This is when people have massive followings. It's because they know exactly that they're speaking to thrifty college-age women who are looking to start a drone business on a budget versus I help people with drones. So I hope that resonates with some of you because I know that that is kind of a foreign concept when we're thinking about it. But you might be thinking to yourself, I'm incredibly multi-passionate. I crush it in the editing department. I crush it in the conceptualization department. And how do I turn this into something that matters? Don't worry. I am a multi-passionate entrepreneur myself, so I completely get you. If you're multi-passionate and you have these ideas swirling in your head where you're like, I am great at so many different things, and to deny some of these would be really to shoot myself in the foot, I lead people through this exercise, which is that harmonious center between your skills, what you're good at, and your passions. This is that area, that bullseye in which you can focus on, and you know you're going to be strong at all of the areas. Listen, every industry has 1,000,001 different things that you could be talking about, but if you're not good at it and you're not passionate about it, cool, it's out. Like, we don't need to talk about it. That's why I don't talk about photography on my account. I'm not a photographer. I just happen to have someone who takes pictures for me. Now, if you have a singular passion, if what I've been speaking up here, you're like, I know exactly what I'm great at, this is perfect, then it is just finding that profitability center. Where can you make the most profits with all of your wonderful talents, your skills, and where you are great at? Okay, so you found a niche that you love, you're a little more clear, you're like, okay, I know exactly what it is I want to do. Now it's time to implement it. And before I get into this, how many people here actually have a social media account dedicated to their work that they're doing right now? Okay, a handful of you. So the biggest place that I see people shoot themselves in the foot, number one, is that they have no idea who they're speaking to. They're creating content for everybody, but they also don't put their best foot forward. So anytime that you've created a social media account on Instagram or Facebook or even YouTube, you have that bio. You have that place where you're saying who you are and what you do. I have probably looked at 1,000 bios in the last week. I was doing audits, and everybody had missed the mark. Nobody had done this correctly. So I want you to not make that same mistake. When I come across your bio, this is a friendly handshake. This is a glass of champagne. This is you saying, hey, I've got something for you, and I want you to follow me in order to get it. I see this all the time. I'm a drone flyer, dad of 2, dog lover, travel buff. Nobody cares. If I don't know you, I don't follow you, I'm not invested in your journey, I don't know your work, I could care less that you are married, you have kids, and that you live in Kentucky. I want to know what's in it for me. When people click that follow button, they are looking for one of 4 things. They are looking for education, entertainment, inspiration, or information. So a lot of times the people that I'm speaking to are trying to give others information. And maybe you're not a drone educator, and maybe you just create awesome videos. So you are focused on the inspiration side. But we need people to understand, okay, cool, so what's in it for me? What are you gonna do for me? And this is, and also, how are you qualified? So when we're talking about building a great bio, and this again can apply to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. This is just an example of Instagram. But this could also be a little quick bio that you use on your website, or when you're speaking about yourself, if you have to write a little bio for yourself. When I talk about I help, a lot of people kind of stop and they're like, okay, wait, I help. I'm not helping people. I'm not a doctor. I'm not helping others. But listen, you can't serve everybody. And if you don't target a specific customer or person, you're just gonna attract nobody because no one's gonna understand what they're doing, why they're following you in your journey. So when we're talking about who I help, this is again that niche. Are you helping men, women? Are you doing brides? Are you doing amazing travel shots? Who are you actually showing up for every single day? And what do we help them do? So maybe you are a drone educator. So you help men in their 40s create their first drone video, or you provide information on how to start your own drone business. When we start getting more clear with ourselves as to what we're actually doing, we can convey that so much clearer. So you help who do what so that they can do something else in their lives. So it's like I help men over 40 learn how to create their first drone video so they can start their first business, or they can start their editing business, or so they can gain a deeper understanding of their skill set. Once you have some more clarity on this, you're going to have a finished product that kind of looks like this. Now, the I help can be I inspire, or I give advice to, or I help people discover. This term can be very broad, but I help personal brands stand out online so they can monetize their Instagram without sacrificing their integrity. That is my mission, my brand statement, and that's how I went full-time. I was able to quit a 6-figure job, start doing Instagram full-time because I got so clear on who it is I'm serving, and now I'm able to connect with these types of people every single day. Okay, so this is where this will all kind of come together. This has nothing to do with social media. This has to do with your business and what you're going to be doing with your drone videos. The biggest mistakes I see when people are trying to market themselves to anybody, this has nothing to do with the internet. When you create a broad subject, you say, I can create you a drone video. Now I'm really confused. Okay, but do you work one-on-one with people like me? Are you doing corporate videos? Are you really strong at like cool shots, or are you doing things more standard? I don't know what you mean. The next is, so when people have a narrow niche, you have a smaller potential audience, and that scares people a lot. But let's say you are the premier travel drone flyer in the United States for exotic locations. Now you've just elevated yourself from one of many to your own platform, your own stage, because you're the guy, you're the person, you're the lady, you're the only person doing this. Sometimes there's not enough interest. Okay, if you tell me that you want to only fly drones at clown conferences, we're gonna have a problem. There's just not enough interest there. You obviously have to find something that is specific, but not too specific. And the area of expertise, I see this a lot with people who are professionals like you in a high-dollar hobby or career, is you want to follow the money. You say, okay, well, if money is in the editing process, I don't know if that's true, but if money is in the editing process, I'm going to do the editing. But you have no passion for that. You don't care. You don't show up for the people. You're uninspired. You don't want to get your work done. You don't have the right expertise in order to be able to execute on that. So really think about where you can bring the most value. And you're not problem solving. Me and Prince want to encourage you to not make this mistake. Even if you are a hobbyist and you are creating beautiful work and you just want people to consume that and give you the kudos and applaud you and give you that cheering it on, you are still actually solving a problem for these people. It could be that you're inspiring them. You're taking them to a place where they've never been before. You're showing them that this hobby could become something better. You're really getting people fired up in order to do something else. So don't discount the fact that you are a problem solver, even if you are just creating cinematic videos. So I just want to kind of summarize this again. Your key steps are to discover exactly what your niche is going to be. Again, even if you're a hobbyist and you want to grow on the internet, just having random videos of any drone shot ever is not going to win you a loyal base of fans. You got to find something that you're awesome in and capitalize on it over and over and over again. You need to implement this. You need to put this into your bio. You need to make it clear that when I come to your page, I can ask, so what? And you've already answered that question in your bio. So what? What's in it for me? And then the last piece is having a personal brand, which is kind of the funnest part, and I'll get into that in just a second. So for any of you that do have a social media profile, this goes for Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. If you want to connect with people online, You have to become a master of these 5 steps. There is a reason that people have 1.5 million followers on Instagram, and you and I have, 50 of our friends and family. They understand who they're talking to. And you're going to see this. Have I hammered home this theme enough? If you don't know who you're talking to, you need to figure this out so quickly, because this will change the entire game. And this goes for your website too, your business. You do not serve everybody. You serve a few people very well, and the rest, not for you. Okay, you have a deep understanding of who you're talking to, and you understand how they like to be talked to. This is like the love languages. I don't know if anyone's ever read that book. But you are probably going to have a few different types of people, and I'm going to cover that. What problems they have, how you solve that problems, and then your unique voice. So we already talked about who you're talking to. But how do they like to be talked to? I'm going to take a guess here, and you have 2 different types of people who follow you. And that is going to be thinkers and rebels. When you're talking to thinkers and rebels, thinkers like to be told steps, processes. Here are 5 tips. Here is my foolproof formula. Here are the things that you need to do in order to get there. So if you're an educator online, you need to be thinking about how you can give people those steps. But if you're creating flashy videos, exciting videos, you are talking to the rebels amongst us. The rebels like flashy language. They like the take no prisoners attitude. They like the get up, let's go, make no excuses type of feel. And a lot of times people know who they're talking to, and then they speak to them in the wrong voice. If you have rebels and you're speaking to them like thinkers, they're not going to connect with you. But if you're a rebel, your content is rebellious, and you speak to rebels, that's how you gain huge fans. We talked about this again. People are looking for entertainment, education, information, and inspiration. So even if you're a hobbyist, you're putting videos up on your account for your friends and family, think to yourself, what's their goal? Are they here for entertainment? Are they here to be inspired by the beauty of nature? Are they looking for me to teach them how to create a drone video? Or are they just looking for, any number of kind of emotions when they hit my page? Okay, so the Krabby Patty secret formula, I'm revealing it today. Let me ask you a question. What does Oprah, Paris Hilton, Steve Jobs, and me have in common? I promise you it is not our bank accounts, though I wish it was. It is that we are all personal brands. I am an online educator. I have a social media account that is dedicated to hot dogs, pizza, and so many random things, but I am a personal brand. Dre is my brand, and this is what I do. So this is how you market yourself online. This is also how you market your business. There are some people who have flashy, sexy, really exciting brands in the drone world, right? It's like really edgy. There are other people who are more functional, and they're speaking to the brides and doing commercial shoots, and they're kind of going in a different direction. So your personal brand is just like that unique formula of your skills, your experience, and who you are as a person. The massive advantages of really asserting your true personality is that you become really recognizable. I'm sure you guys have events. The people up on this stage, you might have more experience than them. You might be creating nearly as awesome content as they are, but they have recognition. They have asserted their expertise on the internet, and they have gained visibility by doing so. They have been shared by other people. They've created relationships with other people that have raised their visibility to something that gets them into places like this. Doesn't always mean that we're more skilled, we're more talented. It means that we have more visibility. This also gives you more opportunities for leadership, getting yourself out there, partnerships, and just greater value to your community. Think about people who you love to follow on social media. They give you something, right? They don't give you something physical. They give you an intangible. They're inspiring you. When you look at their shots, you're like, I've got ideas. I'm fired up. I'm going outside right now, and I'm going to try to do this. Or they give you information, and you're like, that was so helpful. I had no idea how to do that, and now I want to go learn. Why not you be that go-to person? A lot of times when I say you're an expert in something, people say, Dre, I am not an expert. I just do this for fun. But the reality is to me, everybody in this room is an expert. I have no idea anything to do with drones at all, or editing, or any of it. But to me, you're an expert. So finding that area, that passion, that purpose that you can show up to and start helping other people, that's where the loyal followings come from. It's the people that show up without question, people who don't ask for things in return, and people who just do it on social. So here is my last bit. And this applies to anything in your life, but this applies to social media, of course. This also applies for your business. The know, like, and trust factor is something that you have probably heard throughout your life all of the time, but this is crucial in order to gain popularity on the internet, on social media, on YouTube. The know. We already talked a lot about this. But once you're exerting your expertise, you're showing what you can do, and you're building relationships with key people, people are going to start knowing you. They're going to start knowing your name, what it is you're doing, what you're awesome at, what you're creative with. But that likability factor is a huge part of a personal brand. I'm sure that there are legends in your community. And I'm going to guess they're pretty likable people. And this has to do with just being a good person. Are you authentic? Are you real? Are you nice? Do you help other people in your community when someone DMs you and says, hey, how did you do that? Are you replying with compassion and building that community? Are you showing up on YouTube and giving your audience step-by-step tips on how to do that amazing shot they're all asking you for? That's how you really build those loyal followings. Last, the trust factor is the hugest part, I would say, the biggest part to building a strong personal brand and business. This is, are you going to follow through on what you say? If you let your audience know on YouTube or otherwise, hey, next Friday, I'm putting up that incredible video, do you constantly fail to deliver on that? Are you always telling people, hey, new blog post is going to be live, new video is going to be up, and then you never do it? Those are all parts of the trust factor that people are going to start noticing when you're building an online community. And of course, some of the more obvious ones are, make sure that you're not lying or stealing. We see this in the digital community a lot. You see somebody else's work, you go ahead and copy it, you go and put it out as your own. And I promise you, you will take your career and your credibility with your audience faster than you can believe. And last but not least, facts and figures where appropriate. People really want to know that they're speaking to an authority and someone who knows their stuff. So the more that you can actually put your foot forward and say, I know my stuff, you're going to be building that relationship. So just to kind of roll all of it back, I really want you to get clear on what it is you're actually going to be doing. Your niche, the actual category in which you are excellent. I want you to put that forward in all of your social media profiles. I want you to show up and say, this is who I'm serving and this is what I'm doing. Then the last step is to really just put yourself out there. Be a good person. Be a good community member. Understand what your audience needs to see from you in order to build that deeper connection. And these are the secrets to growing online. So, thank you.
Okay, can we get a couple of questions for Dre? And we're going to have a break right after this, but anybody want to ask anything about personal brand? I was going to mention, too, the thinkers and the rebels. This is the first time I've heard this presentation, and a lot of it was familiar to me, some wasn't. But I know that the two most rebellious guys I know on YouTube are sitting right there, right in front of me. I'm pointing at you, Ken, and I'm pointing at you, Sean. I think the rest of us are thinkers, but you know what? We love them anyway. Yeah. So maybe I need to drop more F-bombs in my videos. I don't know.
Yeah.
Steve's got a question right here.
I just have a question, and this with you, and thank you, great presentation, but also the presenters. Are your slide decks going to be available for us?
Yes.
Yeah, slide decks.
Yes. Yes, Prince memes and all.
So we are, by the way, everybody, hopefully this doesn't ding me in authenticity. I wasn't really planning to actually stream this thing, but Philip back here, you guys know Philip. He made it all work for me. So we are streaming right now, and you can watch this on YouTube after the fact. The slides aren't being streamed. Next year, we'll get it to where we have slides and everything on the stream. So thanks to everybody who's watching the stream right now. You guys are awesome. We've had about between 100 and 120 people watching throughout the day. So it is going to be on my YouTube channel after this. So another question right here from Jeff.
All right, so when you're developing like a niche market in the drone community, it's really saturated. I mean, there's a lot of drone channels out there. There's a lot of different people taking different aspects.
Yep.
But it gets real repetitive in certain cases because the content or the like a new drone comes out, everybody reviews the drone, trying to find the niche to be able to stand out above that.
Yep.
What are your suggestions in regards to something along those lines?
Great question. So I work with a lot of people, and I'm speaking from an Instagram experience, but in the Instagram world, there's a lot of fashion influencers, and they all do fall looks and Christmas looks, and I hear the same thing. It's incredibly saturated. How can I stand out when we're all trying to do the same things, we're shopping at the same places? And this is where you come in. There is nobody else that has your personality and your skill set. So finding out how you can capitalize on that more. Do you have a witty sense of humor? Are you hilarious? Do you explain things in incredible detail? Honestly, when markets get saturated, people get lazy. They start thinking like, I'm at the top of this pile, I can just throw out something and like it doesn't need to be as high quality as it used to be. And that's where smaller content creators can shine with being like, I'm gonna create this quality content, I'm gonna put my unique spin on it, but also not pressuring yourself to do these videos. If you know that 10,000 people are doing the same review, then that's not gonna be the area that you're going to shine in. It's finding something else that you can do that will make you stand out. And my biggest suggestion is if you have a drone YouTube channel, honestly, not watching what other people are doing. That's my biggest piece of advice. I don't look at anybody else's account before I create my content, and therefore my content is completely unique to me, and I'm not basing it off anybody else. When you free yourself from competition, you can become so much more creative. So I would recommend creating theme days that are uniquely yours. Monday, I do a teachable moment. Tuesdays, I'm doing a new shop video, and Saturdays I put out, I know that's a lot of videos, but you know what I mean. Creating days where you have your own theme and you create your own content for those days and you don't care what anybody else is doing.
There you go, mic drop, Dre.
Yeah.
Well done. All right, well, so Dre's gonna stick around for a little bit. We do have a break right now. I figured, give me the.
Oh,
there we go. Some
hey.
yeah, well done. Turn it up a little bit for Dre. Little raspberry beret.